Hey everybody, it's Stephanie, the Indiana Training Specialist for the Indiana Territory. This month is September and it's also National Preparedness Month. So make sure you're creating some sort of game plan for yourself, your family, in the event that anything bad could happen, for weather related, anything medical related. Just be ready for knowing what to do next. It's very important. We like to think that we create a game plan for everything that we do in the territory. So all those processes and procedures that we really needed to follow, they're so important because every link connects everybody to make sure the whole thing is done complete and is ready to go to the next class. So I'm going to talk about some reminders including logistics and paperwork, and also an update about the bridging for our part-time on-call instructors, and also some shout outs at the end for the instructors we've received good feedback on the surveys that come back to us. That's why it's so important to turn those in, because not only do I want to see these great things, if we need to work on something, that is so important too. So know that I'm keep an eye on those type of things with the assistance of other folks that are looking through them too. And we just want to make sure that everybody is having a great summer. It's kind of a heat wave right now in Indianapolis, so just keep cool and enjoy the rest of your summer, and I hope everybody's doing well. To kick off this month's reminder section, I just want to remind everyone to make sure that they're taking their full go kits with them. That includes your mannequins, all the disposables, all the paperwork. If you want to section out how much you're taking for disposables and paperwork according to the number expected, that's fine. But be sure you're taking your mannequins with you, because you never know where they might follow you. Creeper. No disaster is a good one if we ever have to use these cots, but think about how nice it is when we are able to send you somewhere to teach for us and get people ready to respond, even if it is just in first aid. A lot of disasters need first aid responders and volunteers in our emergency services and disaster preparedness departments. So just always remember why it's so important for you to get your items back to us, because in the event that you ever wanted to volunteer with them, as well as any other opportunities with the organization, being prepared for a disaster is very important, but also completing our processes are too. Given that it is September and it is the National Preparedness Month, something that we do on our team to make sure you are all prepared in the event that we send you to a class far away is that we like to make sure that you're outfitted with somewhere to stay and a way to get there. So always make sure that you're turning in paperwork associated with those stays and drives within 2 business days of the training that you've completed. Believe me, we track it all. Okay? See the receipts? Yep. Those are only mine. So think of all the ones that come in from when we actually set you up somewhere else. And there are many of you, which means many receipts. But it's very important for us to turn in those items as quickly as possible. So no more than 2 days should pass before you return those as needed. So another quick thing I want to remind everybody about is the importance of why you need to turn in the paperwork, and everything with the paperwork. This not only includes those sign-in sheets that some of you aren't familiar with until more recently, but it really supports the fact that these people have actually come to class with their signature. It proves that they truly attended. And in the same sense, this is also why you need to make sure that you are signing rosters and course records to prove that you actually showed up to teach class. I know that may seem, like a small task to complete, but please make sure you're making all folks sign in when they arrive to class for both full service and community courses, and that you're also signing your signature at the bottom of any course record or roster that we use for class. Because at any time we have to question who was there or whatever, we want to make sure we have all the documentation to prove that you were there as the instructor and so was there and attended the class in full because they signed in. So just a paperwork reminder: send back the sign-in sheets and make sure you sign that you were there, because otherwise we're wondering, did they show up? Were they late? What happened? That way we don't have to bug you and say, hey, did you make it to class that day? We saw you didn't sign the sign-in sheet at the bottom to indicate you were the instructor that day, so make sure you do it. So I have an update to the bridging process that I had mentioned in the previous video. The part-time on-call instructors that are not yet certified as CPR, AED for the professional rescuer and healthcare provider will all be contacted within this month to attend a skill session for that course at the basic level. That way that they're able to complete their prereq to that class. And then the whole process will be outlined one-on-one. Me and the instructor will be working together, not only to get you completed and through a skill session, but also through the overall bridging process. So be looking for a message from me sometime within actually this first week of September, detailing all of that information. And the way I'm assigning you is based off of your availability and when to work. So if I see green, you're getting assigned to a skill session to attend as a participant. And if there's nothing there, I'm assigning you because you're not indicating whether or not you are or aren't actually able to go anywhere that day. But if it's a conflict where you actually have something happening, just let me know and we'll work that out. And if you're in red, don't worry, I'm not scheduling you to that date. But if you have any questions about that bridge, just let me know. The second round will be for those of you who are not currently babysitter training instructors. So for babysitters training, get ready. I know that we have some ITs out there. I will be leaning on you and asking you for assistance to complete it. It's going to be a larger group of folks, but know that no one's necessarily completing everything or everything at the same time. We're kind of doing it in two different phases. So just be prepared to be checking your redcross.org email if you have an account for that. And if you don't, then you need to be paying attention to when to work, because I do kind of send out a little bit of a blurb in there saying check that email, because that's where I'm emailing you. So for round 2, it's going to be babysitters training, but round 1, which is going to be our current focus within the next month or so, probably through the beginning of October, will be to get everyone that is not currently a C-Pro instructor bridged over from lay to C-Pro. So that also gives you more opportunities to teach other courses and also be co-teaching with some of the classes that are out there on the existing schedule. So like I said, if you have any questions about the bridging process, I know I've received a lot of inquiries of when could I do this or when can I become this? This is the beginning of that process. So get excited, get ready, and be keeping an eye on your email. So it's this month's installment of doing shout outs for instructors who have received great results and feedback on surveys. Right now my bookmobile here in Indianapolis, our buddy Adam and the youth outreach goes to schools across the city and other events to get people excited about actually reading and everything, and it's really cool to see how the kids get excited. So if you're ever interested in volunteering at the Indianapolis chapter, check in with this guy. He definitely goes out and needs volunteers all the time, but it's really fun to see the kids get hyped up and excited about all kinds of different things they could be reading about. So to start off, our shout outs for this month, I need to give a shout out to Brian Cushman. He recently got some high marks and everything, good feedback on a recent course he did here in the area with this girl right here. This is Kate. She's up in Fort Wayne. They did a co-teach recently and the students loved it. They loved the dynamic between the two working together and how the whole class came together between the two. Their collaboration was very strong and it impressed everyone in the class. And last but not least for this month, it is, oh, that's the wrong guy. Just kidding. We're just going back and forth here. James Raymer, right here. Yep. He got some great feedback recently. Folks definitely noticed he knew what he was talking about, had the class very organized from the beginning, and everyone could hear him, which is always important. If you can't hear me right now, I probably have to turn it up a little bit. So thanks to these instructors for doing a great job in the past month. There's always feedback that comes back on these surveys, so that's why it's so important to make sure those come back in the mail as needed within a 5-day turnaround. Great job, guys. What?